The practice of itikaf has its origins in the time of the Prophet Muhammad and the early Islamic community in Medina. According to Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad would retreat to the mosque for spiritual seclusion and prayer during the last 10 days of Ramadan. The word itikaf comes from the Arabic word kafa, which means to remain or to stay. It is believed that the practice of itikaf was established by the Prophet Muhammad himself, and was later followed by his companions and the early Muslims. Itikaf is an Islamic practice of spiritual retreat in which a person secludes himself in a mosque or a designated prayer area for a period of time, typically during the last 10 days of the Islamic month of Ramadan. The purpose of itikaf is to seek spiritual purification and closeness to Allah by dedicating oneself to prayer, recitation of the Quran, and reflection on one's faith. During itikaf, the person performing it must remain in the designated area and abstain from worldly activities such as work, socializing, and entertainment. They are allowed to leave only for essential needs such as using the restroom or taking a shower. Itikaf can last for any duration, from a few hours to 10 consecutive days. Itikaf is a voluntary practice, and not an obligation in Islam. It is considered a highly recommended act of worship for Muslims who are physically and mentally capable of performing it. The practice is widely observed in Muslim countries around the world, and many mosques provide designated areas for itikaf during Ramadan. As sunset approaches, participants prepare for the Maghrib prayer and break their fast with a simple meal, usually provided by the mosque or donated by other worshippers. After breaking the fast, participants may engage in more worship and reflection, including Taraweeh prayers, which are performed during Ramadan. The night in itikaf is usually the most active and intense period of worship. Participants spend time in individual and group prayer, recitation of the Quran, and engaging in other acts of worship. Some mosques offer special activities such as Qiyamul Layl, the night prayer, and other spiritual programs to help participants stay focused and energized. With the Fajr prayer, followed by individual prayer and recitation of the Quran. Participants may then rest for a few hours or engage in other activities such as reading Islamic literature, reflecting on their faith, or engaging in acts of charity. As the day progresses, participants may take short breaks for rest, but most of the time is dedicated to worship and spiritual activities. During the afternoon, the mosque may offer special programs or activities to keep participants engaged and focused on their spiritual goals, till they break their fast. People do itikaf for various reasons, but the primary motivation is to seek spiritual purification and draw closer to Allah. Some of the reasons why people do itikaf include: seeking the pleasure of Allah. Itikaf is an act of worship that is solely done to seek the pleasure of Allah. By dedicating oneself to prayer, recitation of the Quran, and reflection on one's faith, the person performing itikaf hopes to earn Allah's blessings and forgiveness. Detaching oneself from worldly distractions, by secluding oneself in a mosque or designated prayer area, the person performing itikaf is able to detach themselves from the distractions of the world and focus solely on their spiritual goals. This can help them gain a deeper sense of inner peace and tranquility. Strengthening one's faith. Itikaf can be a transformative experience that helps a person deepen their understanding of Islam and strengthen their faith. By immersing oneself in worship and spiritual activities, the person performing itikaf may gain new insights into their faith and develop a stronger connection to Allah. Seeking spiritual guidance. Itikaf can also be a time for seeking spiritual guidance from Allah and His messengers. By engaging in prayer and reflection, the person performing itikaf may receive insights and guidance that can help them in their personal and spiritual lives. Prophet Muhammad encouraged his companions to engage in itikaf as a means of seeking Allah's pleasure and drawing closer to Him. He emphasized the importance of focusing on worship and reflection during this practice, and spoke about the rewards and benefits that can be gained by those who engage in itikaf with sincerity and devotion.